Sara, ci sei? Ciao tesoro, ciao. Sei pronta? Mancano 3 minuti, eh? Apri il microfono. Sara? Non ti sento? Non ti sento? Non ti sento, Sara. Apri il microfono, ce l'hai chiuso? Ah, forse lo deve aprire il dottor Vikram, forse?
Ecco, non riuscivo a farlo, scusate.
Va bene, ma siamo in tempo, 58, 2 minuti.
Perfetto.
Ce l'hai il testo?
Allora, la traduzione ti dà una mano Christine, io faccio la presentazione, però nel caso c'è qualcosa, ci sono anch'io. Infatti bisognerebbe fare la mute anche a Christine se è possibile, così. Ti do la parola, maestro, e poi
Sì.
Christine. Se poi ci sono problemi siamo in 2.
Va bene, appunto per favore, dottor Vikrant.
Yes, Swamiji, namaste.
Can you open to Christine too? Because you know that Amelia has the problem with the father that is in hospital. So today there are Sarah that help me and Christine too.
Perfect, Swamiji. I have already.
Okay, Sarah.
Can you unmute?
Me?
Yes. I cannot do by myself, I think.
Yeah.
No, you can do. You
Okay,
can do it.
thank you.
Okay.
So
we got
Sarah
do
the presentation and Christine translate.
Yeah. Just let me know
Yes.
when I have to. Just let me know when to start.
Sarah.
Shall I start? Poi inizio, dimmi tu quando devo iniziare.
1 minute again. 1 minute.
Ok.
16:30. No, 16:30. Sì, 17. Alle 17 esatte. Guarda sul computer, ma te lo dico io.
Okay. Just a sec.
We can start now. Sarah, you can start now. You can start, Sarah.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome, friends and a spiritual seeker. We are here to introduce you a really special event. It's our sixth and last event session about the life management and the Bhagavad Gita way. Is a beautiful event organized by the European Yoga Federation with the collaboration of the United Consciousness. And we're going to speak, we're going to have our Amadeoji, Swami Suryananda Sarasvati, that he will speak for 30 minutes with introducing the story of the Bhagavad Gita. And then we're going to have our special friends and a special guest, that is Dr. Vikramji, that he will have half an hour where he will speak about the management and how to use the Bhagavad Gita in a normal life. We are so pleased. After an hour of this beautiful session, we're going to have a question and answer. So please keep your question for the last half an hour. You can write on the messages on the chat, or you can write on YouTube if you want, and we'll try to answer everyone. So I'm so pleased and honored to introduce and to give this speech to Amadeoji to start with a live session. Please.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you. Thank you. Only I want to tell that my duty is to speak about the Mahabharata, history of classical Mahabharata. Okay. And Dr. Vikrant speak about Bhagavad Gita. So now I start. We was in one point of so interesting of Mahabharata. As you know, everyone. You know that I speak in Italian because for me it's easier. And today, Christine helped me to translate. I am in white dress because I am here with some students, and we are learning Ayurveda. For that, I am in white dress and not orange dress, that is my normal dress in the life. Ok. So noi eravamo in un campo dove si stava svolgendo uno Svayamvara. Cristina?
Aspetta, cosa stai dicendo adesso, scusa?
Sto dicendo che l'ultima sessione eravamo in un campo dove si stava svolgendo uno Svayamvara.
Cos'è uno Svayamvara?
Svayamvara poi lo spiego io.
Forse potresti dire questo tu in inglese per il momento.
No, dai, per favore. Allora, we was in one competition called Svayamvara. You know? Yes. Where all the prince and princess was in this competition because one king want to marry his daughter that was a princess. Adesso andiamo avanti. E in questo Svayamvara, in questa competizione, era presente Krishna.
And in this competition, Krishna was present.
And Krishna sottovoce disse a suo fratello Balarama.
And Krishna, in a whisper, said to his brother Balarama,
che stava vicino a lui nella competizione.
Who was standing right beside him.
Vedi, quei brahmini sono i Pandava che tutti pensano periti nell'incendio.
You see those Brahmins, they are the Pandava whom everyone thinks perished in the fire.
Ma tutto era predestinato.
But everything was predestined. Sorry.
Essi faranno ancora grandi cose, disse Krishna.
They will still do great things, said Krishna.
Ad un certo punto Arjuna si alzò emergendo dal gruppo di Brahmini.
At a certain point, Arjuna stood up, emerging from the group of Brahmins.
Il pubblico si agitò protestando.
The audience became agitated and protested.
Come osa un Brahmino partecipare a una gara aperta solo agli Kshatriya?
How dare a Brahmin take part in a contest open only to Kshatriyas?
Che i Brahmini continuino ad occuparsi delle loro scritture.
Let the Brahmins rather go on with their scriptures.
Ma il re Draupada disse di non aver limitato la partecipazione ai soli Kshatriya.
But King Draupada said that he had not restricted participation to Kshatriyas only.
Pertanto, chiunque era libero di partecipare allo Svayamvara.
So anyone was free to participate in the Svayamvara.
Arjuna si avvicinò all'arco, seguito con interesse dagli occhi della bella principessa Draupadi.
Arjuna approached the arch, followed with interest by the eyes of the beautiful princess Draupadi,
che fino a quel momento non aveva mostrato interesse per nessuno dei partecipanti.
who had not shown interest in any of the participants up to that time.
Non solo Arjuna riuscì immediatamente a tendere l'arco, ma scagliò 5 frecce che finirono tutte nel centro.
Not only did Arjuna immediately manage to draw his bow, but he shot 5 arrows that all landed in the center.
Draupadi allora gli si avvicinò e gli mise al collo una ghirlanda di fiori.
Draupadi then approached him and placed a garland of flowers around his neck.
E da quel momento furono considerati promessi sposi.
And from that moment on, they were considered betrothed.
Arjuna la prese per mano e si allontanò con lei.
Arjuna took her by the hand and walked away with her.
Ma nella folla scoppiò un tumulto che si trasformò presto in rissa.
But a commotion broke out in the crowd, which soon turned into a fight.
Bhima, il più forte dei Pandava, armato di 2 tronchi che aveva sradicato nel giardino,
Bhima, the strongest of the Pandava, armed with 2 logs which he had uprooted from the garden,
si pose a protezione della principessa mentre veniva condotta a casa loro.
he stood to protect the princess while she was being led to their house.
Quando i fratelli giunsero a casa,
When the brothers arrived home,
Kunti era in cucina e Bhima gridò dalla soglia:
Kunti was in the kitchen and Bhima shouted from the doorway,
"Madre, vieni a vedere quale bhiksha, carità sarebbe, ti abbiamo portato oggi."
"Mother, come and see what bhiksha, means charity, we have brought you today."
Va bene, spartitela tra voi, rispose Kunti dalla cucina.
All right, divide it among yourselves, answered Kunti from the kitchen.
Gridò Bhima. Esplosero in coro gli altri.
Shouted Bhima. The others burst out in chorus.
In particolare rideva Arjuna che aveva conquistato la sposa.
Especially Arjuna laughed, who had won the bride.
La madre allora uscì dalla cucina per capire qual era la causa di quel frastuono.
The mother came out of the kitchen then to find out what was causing the noise.
Cosa succede? Disse Kunti. Hai vinto tu, Arjuna?
What's going on? Said Kunti. Have you won, Arjuna?
Poi al colmo della felicità afferrò le mani della principessa e disse:
Then in a fit of happiness he grasped the hands of the princess and said,
Arjuna, ti sei conquistato questa sposa, questa principessa, questa bellissima creatura.
Arjuna, you have won this bride, this princess, this beautiful creature.
Dunque hai preso parte alla competizione.
So you have taken part in the competition.
Io non avevo mai creduto che volessi partecipare veramente alla gara.
I had never believed that you really wanted to take part in the competition.
Il rischio che i tuoi nemici ti scoprissero era davvero molto grande.
The risk that your enemies might discover you was really very great.
Sono felice di dare il benvenuto a questa nuora. Raccontami.
I'm happy to welcome this daughter-in-law. Tell me.
Com'è stato? Entrate.
How was it? Come on in.
La gioia di Kunti era davvero grande. Suo figlio aveva vinto la più difficile delle competizioni.
Kunti's joy was great indeed. Her son had won the most difficult of competitions, coming out safe and sound.
Uscendone tra l'altro sano e salvo e coperto di gloria.
Not only coming out safe and sound, but also covered with glory.
entrate, entrate, insiste Kunti, e tutti entrarono in filo dietro di lei.
Come on in, Kunti insisted, and they all came in a row behind her.
Lei spiegò una stuoia e pregò la principessa di sedersi.
She unfolded a mat and begged the princess to sit down.
Ma ella, molto educata, rifiutò di sedersi se gli uomini e sua suocera non si fossero seduti prima.
But she was very polite. She very politely refused to sit down unless the man and her mother-in-law sat down first.
Seguì una pausa carica di imbarazzo.
There followed an awkward pause.
I 5 fratelli non avevano ben chiaro come comportarsi e la principessa Draupadi stava in disparte con gli occhi chini.
The 5 brothers were not clear on how to behave, and Princess Draupadi stood back with her eyes cast down,
senza guardare i 5 uomini che se la sarebbero spartita qualora avesse ubbidito all'ingiunzione materna.
without looking at the 5 men who would share her if they obeyed her mother's injunction.
Una situazione davvero imbarazzante per la principessa che aveva creduto di sposare un uomo ed ora si trovava ad essere sposa a 5 mariti.
A very embarrassing situation for the princess who had believed she was marrying one man and now found herself married to 5 husbands.
Toccò ad Arjuna rompere il ghiaccio. Madre, disse, per noi la tua parola è sempre stata un ordine.
It was Arjuna's turn to break the ice. Mother, he said, your word has always been an order to us.
Divideremo Draupadi tra di noi come tu hai decretato.
We shall divide Draupadi among us as you have decreed.
No, 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 disse la madre.
No, 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 said the mother.
Arjuna, disse Yudhishthira, Arjuna, disse Yudhishthira, quale assurda proposta è mai la tua?
Arjuna, said Yudhishthira, what absurd proposal is yours?
Forse stai scherzando.
Maybe you're joking.
Una donna sposata a un solo uomo e una moglie, una donna che spartisce fra 2, 3, 4 uomini è una prostituta.
A woman married to one man is a wife. A woman who divides herself between 2, 3, 4 men is a prostitute.
Arjuna disse, tu che sei il mio fratello maggiore e sei un uomo saggio e consapevole del bene e del male, consigliaci tu.
Arjuna said, you who are my elder brother and a wise man, aware of good and evil, advise us, please.
Guidaci e non mancheremo di ubbidire.
Guide us and we will not fail to obey.
Ma sappi che non potremo rinnegare il volere espresso da una madre.
But know that we cannot deny the will of a mother.
Non appena Arjuna ebbe pronunciato queste parole, gli occhi di tutti i fratelli si posarono sul volto della giovane.
As soon as Arjuna had uttered these words, the eyes of all the brothers rested on the young girl's face.
E i cuori iniziarono a battere più velocemente, poiché Manmata, il dio dell'amore, era già all'opera.
And their hearts began to beat faster because Manmata, the god of love, was already at work.
Yudhishthira meditò per qualche istante, ricordandosi anche delle parole di un veggente.
Yudhishthira meditated for a few moments, also remembering the words of a seer.
Questo veggente aveva profetizzato questa stessa situazione. E allora lui... Sì, vai.
Who had foreseen the situation and prophesied it.
Allora lui disse: questa creatura di rare virtù sarà la moglie di tutti noi.
So he said, this creature of rare virtue will be the wife of all of us.
Deciso, tra l'altro, fermamente ad evitare ogni rancore tra i suoi fratelli.
Firmly resolved to avoid all rancor among his brothers.
In seguito al dono dello zio Dhritarashtra di un pezzo di terra,
Following Uncle come si chiamava già?
Dhritarashtra,
Dhritarashtra's. Following Uncle Dhritarashtra's gift of a piece of land,
rivelatosi poi un deserto,
which later turned out to be a desert.
i Pandava, anziché scoraggiarsi di costruire una città delle meraviglie,
The Pandava, instead of becoming discouraged, built a city of wonders,
Indraprasta, suscitando ancora di più l'invidia di Duryodhana,
Indraprastha, arousing the envy of Duryodhana even more,
il quale, non sapendo più come batterli, pensò di sfidarli con la complicità di un famoso bardo di nome Shakuni,
who, not knowing how to beat them, thought of challenging them with the complicity of a famous cheat named Sakuni.
Basta, no. Yudhishthira ricevette la visita di Vyasa,
Hai finito perché tu sei molto staccato, al momento non ti sento molto bene.
a Indraprasta un giorno Yudhishthira ricevette la visita di Vyasa,
In Indraprastha, one day Yudhishthira was visited by Vyasa,
il quale prima di andarsene formulò una profezia che lasciò Yudhishthira assai turbato.
who, before leaving, made a prophecy that left Yudhishthira very disturbed.
Ho letto i segni e i portenti, disse Vyasa.
I have read the signs and portents, he said.
I prossimi 13 anni saranno difficili per te.
The next 13 years will be difficult for you.
Sarà difficile arrestare le azioni e le reazioni ed esse saranno foriere di gravi conseguenze.
It will be difficult to stop your actions and reactions, and they will be harbingers of the grave consequences.
Al termine di 13 anni l'intera stirpe degli kshatriya sarà annientata e tu sarai lo strumento di questa distruzione.
At the end of 13 years, the entire lineage of the Kshatriya will be annihilated, and you will be the instrument of this destruction.
Dopo che Vyasa se ne fu andato, triste si mise a riflettere.
After Vyasa had gone, sad, he pondered.
Come possiamo scongiurare ciò che è destino ad accadere?
How can we avert what is bound to happen?
Poi formulò questo voto: per 13 anni non pronuncerò una parola aspra all'indirizzo di nessuno.
So he made this vow. For 13 years, I will not utter a harsh word to anyone, whatever may happen.
Qualunque cosa possa accadere, sia egli un re, un fratello o un uomo comune.
So whatever may happen, be he a king, a brother, or a common man.
Non pronuncerò parole che possono dar luogo a differenze tra una persona e un'altra.
I will not utter a word that might give rise to differences between one person and another.
Parole aspre e litigi sono alla radice di tutti i conflitti del mondo e io intendo evitarli.
Harsh words and quarrels are at the root of all conflicts in the world, and I intend to avoid them.
Forse in tal modo riuscirò a smussare la lama tagliente del fato.
Perhaps in this way I will be able to blunt the sharp blade of fate.
Nel frattempo, ad Astinapura, Dhritarashtra fece costruire una magnifica e imponente sala del consiglio.
Meanwhile, in Hastinapura, Dhritarashtra, scusa, had a magnificent and imposing council hall built.
E quando la sala fu terminata, Dhritarashtra mandò Vidura a Indraprastha per invitare i Pandava a visitarla.
And when the hall was finished, Dhritarashtra sent Vidura to Indraprastha to invite the Pandava to visit it.
L'arrivo di Vidura a Indraprastha trovò Yudhishthira compiaciuto ma al tempo stesso disorientato.
Vidura's arrival in Indraprastha found Yudhishthira pleased, but at the same time also bewildered.
Vidura spiegò lo scopo della sua presenza.
Vidura then explained the purpose of this presence.
Re Dhritarashtra ti invita a visitare la nuova sala del consiglio che ha chiamato Palazzo di Cristallo.
King Dhritarashtra invites you to visit the new council hall, which he has called the Crystal Palace.
Sta inoltrando l'invito a tutti i principi di sua conoscenza.
He's forwarding the invitation to all the princes of his acquaintance.
Vuole che tu venga senza indugio, portando con te tua madre, i tuoi fratelli e la vostra moglie Panchali.
He wants you to come without delay, taking with you your mother, your brothers, and your wife Panchali.
Dice che dovreste trattenervi e godere del vostro soggiorno, divertendovi in particolare a una partita ai dadi che avrà luogo in quel magnifico edificio.
He says you should stay and enjoy your stay, particularly enjoying a game of dice that will take place in that magnificent building.
Vidura confidò a Yudhishthira le sue personali supposizioni, spiegando anche che la costruzione della sala del consiglio era conseguenza dell'invidia di Duryodhana.
Vidura confided to Yudhishthira his personal suppositions, explaining also that the construction of the council hall was a consequence of Duryodhana's envy.
Per quanto aveva visto nella loro città delle meraviglie,
of what he had seen in their city of wonders.
Dhritarashtra, disse Vidura, si lascia trascinare dalle opinioni e dagli interessi di suo figlio e ignora ogni altra considerazione.
Dhritarashtra, Vidura said, let himself be carried away by his son's opinions and interests and ignores all other considerations.
Se decidi di non raccogliere il suo appello, non ho che da rientrare e riferirglielo.
If you decide not to take up his appeal, I have only to go back and report it to him.
Dopotutto io sono solamente un messaggero.
After all, I am only a messenger.
Yudhishthira, dopo aver riflettuto su quell'invito, memore anche di ciò che gli aveva detto Vyasa,
Yudhishthira, after reflecting on that invitation, mindful also of what Vyasa had told him,
E se fosse tutto predisposto, pensò, e con inquietudine soggiunse: il gioco d'azzardo è immorale, disse, alimenta i dissidi.
What if it all was arranged? Gambling is immoral, he said. It breeds dissensions.
Perché dovremmo impegnarci in un gioco così deplorevole?
Why should we engage in such a deplorable game?
Sappiamo per filo e per segno dove ci condurrebbe.
We know exactly where it will lead us.
Vidura non rispose,
Vidura did not reply.
si limitò a dire: Yudhishthira, fa quello che ti sembra più opportuno in questa circostanza.
He merely said, Yudhishthira, do what seems best to you in this circumstance.
Quando Dhritarashtra esprime il suo volere, come posso rifiutare, disse Yudhishthira?
When Dhritarashtra expresses his will, how can I refuse, said Yudhishthira?
Declinare l'invito e prendere parte a un gioco, a una sfida, è contrario al codice degli kshatriya.
To decline an invitation to take part in a game, a challenge, is contrary to the code of the Kshatriyas.
Giunti ad Hastinapura,
On reaching Hastinapura,
i Pandava, come farebbe ognuno di noi quando ritorna nel proprio paese o città,
the Pandava, as any of us would do on returning to our own country or city,
si recarono a salutare ciascuno dei loro parenti, a cominciare dal re Dhritarashtra.
went to greet each of their relatives, beginning with the king Dhritarashtra.
In seguito vennero scortati negli appartamenti a loro destinati.
After which they were escorted to the flats intended for them,
Rifocillati con cibi e bevande e anche allietati da musiche adatte soprattutto a conciliare il sonno.
refreshed with food and drink, and also cheered by music, suitable especially to help them asleep.
Mattina seguente furono svegliati da musicisti, cantanti e dai loro strumenti.
The next morning they were awakened by musicians, singers, and their instruments.
Dopo gli esercizi del mattino e la colazione, fecero il bagno, indossarono abiti nuovi, dissero le preghiere, si spalmarono i pasta di sandalo, si profumarono e alla fine si incamminarono verso la sala del consiglio.
After the morning exercises and breakfast, they bathed, they put on new clothes, said prayers, smeared themselves with sandalwood paste, perfumed themselves, and finally walked to the council hall.
Bene, cari e affettuosi ascoltatori, vi ho introdotto in quel momento veramente del Mahabharata decisivo, no? Nella storia, guarda che sto andando a ruota libera, nella storia dei Pandava.
Dear listeners, I've told you a little bit about the story of the Mahabharata.
In quella sala si è svolta la sfida ai dadi.
In this council hall, the competition of dadi, come si chiama già? Dice was
Esattamente,
held.
dai. Ok. E questa sfida ai dadi sarà un episodio molto importante nel Mahabharata.
And this event, this competition is very important in the Mahabharata.
Per questa sfida poi diciamo incomincia questo dissidio fra i cugini.
And then they started dissent of the cousins,
che ci porterà fino a una guerra che si svolgerà su un campo che si chiama Kurukshetra.
And this will bring us to una guerra, a war
Sì.
on the field, on a certain field, which is called.
E ritroveremo proprio il momento in cui inizierà questa battaglia, dove Arjuna avrà un momento di, come posso dire, di depressione.
And then at a certain point, Arjuna during that fight gets in a sort of a depression.
E leggeremo nella Bhagavad Gita quante motivazioni darà Krishna ad Arjuna per combattere.
And then we read in the Bhagavad Gita how many things Krishna is going to tell to Arjuna.
Certamente. E la Bhagavad Gita è un testo che noi consideriamo il Vangelo dello yogi.
Il Vangelo.
Sì, è un testo sacro per gli yogi.
And the Bhagavad Gita is a really holy scripture for the yogi.
Perché attraverso la Bhagavad Gita, come vedremo anche dal convento del dottor Vikram di oggi,
Ho dimenticato.
con l'aiuto della Bhagavad Gita,
With the help of the Bhagavad Gita,
comprenderemo anche attraverso le parole del dottor Vikrant
we will understand also through the words of Dr. Vikrant later on
come comportarci per avere un comportamento corretto, mentale, psicologico, emozionale.
how to behave ourselves, how to handle things in a proper manner, mentally, physically, and emotionally.
Grazie per la vostra pazienza. Cedo adesso la parola al dottor Vikrant che vi conduce verso un argomento della Bhagavad Gita.
And with these words, I want to conclude and give the word to Dr. Vikranti, who will explain to you how to ho dimenticato, guarda,
come puoi apprendere il comportamento, i pensieri profondi.
How to learn and to apply all the wisdom of the Bhagavad Gita.
Thank you so much. Namaste. Namaste.
Thank you so much. Now the word is to Dr. Vikranti.
Thank you very much, respected Swamiji. Thank you, Christine. I welcome all of you, dear friends. Today, we will talk about a very interesting topic, Jnana Yoga. But before I go in this topic, let me ask whether anybody of you thought this in your life. If yes, you may raise your hands. He or she never appreciates me. For anybody, means if you ever thought like this or you ever spoke like this, he or she never appreciates me. Second, my boss or somebody criticizes. Have ever you thought this or spoke that word? Perfect. I think I'm not good enough. At any moment of life, at any challenge of life, did you ever think like this? That I'm not good enough. Next, they are backbiting against me. They are backbiting against me. They are speaking ill of me in my absence. Have you ever thought about it or said this ever? Or have you ever thought or said like this, nobody understands me? Perfect. Or have you ever said this line, that I like that person because he or she understands me? Perfect. So we know, that it is our story I'm talking about. So there was a philosopher. He went to a farm. When he went to a farm, he saw a scarecrow like this. In India, they make scarecrow a dummy person so that the bird should not come and spoil the crop. So birds are afraid of that scarecrow and they don't come to the crop to spoil it. So when this philosopher went to that scarecrow, a dummy person who is made to scare the birds, that's what it is called, scarecrow. So the philosopher told to that dummy scarecrow, Acha, philosopher can talk to anybody. So you don't worry about it. They can talk to anybody. They can talk to roof, moon, anything. So philosopher said that you are such a dummy, useless and false person. You have a false identity. You actually don't exist. So such a dummy existence you have, false existence. So the scarecrow replied to the philosopher. Acha, to philosopher, everything replies. So scarecrow replied to the philosopher that I am not a dummy person. I am not a I don't have a false existence. If you want to see how much I am alive, you should see in the eyes of these birds. They are really afraid of me. And I am alive in their eyes. So I have my existence. Then that scarecrow took a pause and said, if I am dummy, if you think that I am a false person, I have no existence, I am dummy, then what do you think you are? You people also live in the eyes of others, don't you? 5 people appreciates you, you start feeling good about yourself. 7 people criticize you, you start doubting yourself. That scarecrow said, what is your whole existence? You also live in the eyes of others. You seek so much validation from people, society around you, that if I am a dummy person, so you are, because we both exist in others' eyes. So dear friends, we exist in the other's eyes. Others' opinion becomes so much important for us that it can make or break our day. Why it happens? Because we don't exactly know who we are. And that is why we like those people who understand us. Why? Because we feel, I don't understand myself. At least there is one person in the world who understands me. So I should catch hold of that person. At least he or she understands me, because I don't understand myself. So Jnana Yoga is a technique to understand yourself. Jnana is a Sanskrit word that literally means knowledge. Yoga means connect. So the knowledge that connects you to yourself is called Jnana Yoga. The knowledge which connects you to your real self is called Jnana Yoga. Now comes is, what is my real self? Who am I actually? So on public request, nowadays I have started making some PowerPoint presentations, which I'm not much fond of, but what to do? So let me put it like this. So who am I then? I am a combination of these 3 things: body, mind, and spirit. In general understanding, these 3 things I tend to refer as me. I tend to. Let's analyze it. So now let's think of somebody. There is a girl. She has a medical problem of numbness in the body. a part of body is numb. See, body is physical existence. She feels numb in a part of the body. Why she has this numbness? When I inquired, then I realized that she had a very difficult childhood. Her father was a strong disciplinarian, never loved her, never talked to her nicely. So she had those memories haunting her. Reason number one. Second, when she grew up, she fell for a man. That man even cheated and insulted her. So her thought of life is, I never got love in life. I'm worthless. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy of love of anybody. Look, my father never loved me. The person whom I love never loved me. Even society doesn't want me. I'm not wanted. See how it happens. So there is a deep-rooted desire. Vasana. What is that? To be loved. This is the root cause. That I want to be loved. Okay. When you want to be loved, but my experiences of life, memories are like, I never was loved. Neither father nor anybody loved me. So it is called subconscious. Unconscious is the deep-rooted desire to be loved. Subconscious means chitta. In Sanskrit, it is called chitta. Those experiences of life that got registered. And that created feelings and thoughts in my mind. Conscious thoughts. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. Make sense? Can you connect? So we are a complex being. Deep-rooted desires, some experiences of life in subconscious, which are up now in subconscious. And they create my conscious beliefs and feelings. Fine. So, body reflects in physical format, in organs. Mind is divided into three: conscious, unconscious, and subconscious in modern psychology. Unconscious is Vasana. In Vedanta, this unconscious, deep-rooted is called Vasana. Subconscious is called memories or Chittam. And conscious, which we are completely conscious about, is our thoughts, emotions, and self. That is called ego, intelligence, and mind. Whereas a spirit is called consciousness. And let's be very clear about it. It is consciousness. When you give somebody anesthesia, he loses his conscious. He is not conscious. But somehow doctors wrongly use the word and they say that he lost the consciousness, which Vedanta says can never happen. Yes, he is not conscious is correct. Because the connectivity between mind and the body is not there. But consciousness remains. No anesthesia can remove the consciousness because it is our basic identity. Let's go further. This is called gross body. I'm telling you the deep knowledge about self that Bhagavad Gita tells in chapter 2. This soul, conscious and unconscious together, are called subtle body, also called Antah-karana in Sanskrit. Also, it brings kamana, desires. Fine? And the deep-rooted desires are called vasana or the causal body. In the last session, we discussed about it. So these are the bodies. Now, let's understand. It brings us sensation, bodily sensations. It brings us perception, how you see the world. And it brings us conception. We are born because of those desires. That's why we came to the planet, to experiment. So it gives conception. These two together are called soul. When you say soul leaves the body, we mean this leaves the body. Be very specific in that. It is called Jivatma in Sanskrit. And this is what it calls soul. And in Arabic, we call it Ruh. So this is what Ruh. This is what leaves the body. So when you say somebody died, the body and the soul departs. Body remains there, but soul leaves. But the spirit is called Atma. That is different. Atman and soul are not same. Spirit and soul are not same. Fine, let's go further. We need to understand it like this. There is a container, like this glass is a container. So this container is the physical body. You can see it. The fluid in the container, this water, is the subtle body. You see, soul. So I can remove this water from this place. Water can be poured in some other container. Water can go from this container to that container, but the same water can go from here to there. So the soul goes from this container to another, the water. Then what is the spirit? If sun reflects in the water, so that reflection of the soul's spirit of the sun in the water is the spirit. So it is just a simile. The reflection of the sun in the water is the spirit. Water is the soul. And container is the physical body. It will be more clear. So what happens to the body? It goes to the grave, dies. What happens to the soul? It transmigrates, goes to another container. And what happens to the sun? It stops reflecting. So the moment sun stops reflecting, spirit stops reflecting, we call it dead. Fine. Let me simplify it further. Body is unique. Sara's body, Swamiji's body, my bodies are different. Sara's mind, my mind, Christine's mind and Swamiji's mind are different. So it is unique. But interestingly, Sara's Atman, my Atman, Swamiji's Atman, Christine's Atman is one. And this is what you call Advait. Atma is one, not two. Jivatmas are many. Souls are many, but not the spirit. It is one. So, what is the body? Which was not there in past, which is there in present, but will not be there in future, isn't it? Dr. Vikrant Singh Tomar was not there 50 years before on this planet. I will not be there. I guess let me have some bit more, 60 years after today. So I will not be there in future. I will not be there. I was not there in past, but right now I'm here. See, can you see me? Sarah, can you see me? So in the present, I am a reality, but I was not a reality in past. I will not be a reality in future. Make sense? Now let's come to this. My thought process. It is never present because my thought has no physical existence. It is only here. If I have this watch and I feel it is a beautiful watch, look, this is a watch. It's a fact. It has a body. But if I say it is beautiful, so it's a perception. Fine. Christine may say, no, it's an ugly watch. I will say it's a beautiful watch. What does that mean? It's just a perception. It does not exist in physical plane. So your mind, intelligence, ego, memories, desires, all are here. No existence at all. It was never there in past, not in present also, and never will be in future. It is a cloud existence. Fine. Then what is a spirit? What is Atman? Ever present. Something that was there before the creation is there now and will remain after the creation ends, is called consciousness. Make sense? So this is called objective reality. Like Sarah, Christine, Swamiji and Vikrant, All four will say it is a watch. Yes? So it's an objective reality. People will speak the same language. But Sarah may say it's a beautiful watch. I may say it's an ugly watch. Christine may say it's the worst model. So what does that mean? It is called subjective reality. Fine. What is subjective reality? For Sarah, the same thing has different meaning. For Christians, the same thing has different meaning. If it is my father's watch, it is very, very important for me. So it's called subjective reality. Whole this soul stuff is subjective reality. Doesn't exist. It exists here. This Atman is of absolute reality. Fine. Let me make it more clear. Atman is absolute, past, present, future, ever present. Like for example, there is a hardware in computing. Hardware is the body. Software is the soul. But even if you have hardware and software ready, if there is no electricity, what will you do? Electricity is the spirit. But interestingly, Sarah's, Christine and Swamiji's computer may have different operating systems. That is your soul. Sarah, Christine, Swamiji may have different computer hardware. Somebody have MacBook, somebody HP and somebody different. But can I say Sarah, Swamiji and Christine has different electricity? No, it's one. Electricity is one. It reflects. The moment it will start reflecting, everything will start functioning. The moment it's gone, everything will stop functioning. So it reflects and it doesn't. The moment like sun reflects and doesn't. The moment spirit reflects, you start operation. The moment it stops reflecting. For example, body is the vehicle, but soul is the steering. It decides. Look, our moods vary. Some people drive fast, some people drive slow. But spirit is the patrol. Even if you are the best driver, if you don't have gas, how will you drive them? So this is what Krishna explains to Arjuna in chapter 2. Now the next point comes. All this dark shade is called matter. Everything is matter. And whatever in white is called a spirit. In the Yoga Sutra, this dark is called Prakriti, nature. This white is called Purusha, you yourself. It is inert. It is sentient. It is temporary. It's permanent. And this is called Aparagyana. This is called Paragyana. Apara means lower, lesser. Para means higher, greater. So this gray matter and this gray matter in my PowerPoint, both are lower knowledge. This white is higher knowledge. So what we understood it. So knowledge can be two, the lower knowledge and the higher knowledge. Complete what we discussed in gray is called lower knowledge. So what is lower knowledge? Know about your surroundings. You should know the map, livelihood, entertainment, Avenger movies, education, MTech from Boston, bondages of life, earning money, desire, service, professional development, my own plans, all these are paragyana. And what you will get from this jnana? These are the results of this jnana. With the presence of object, I feel drained. In many relationships, people feel drained in the presence of another person. With the absence of object, I feel lonely what to do. When he is here, I feel drained. When he is not here, I feel lonely. When the object is present, I feel stressed how to handle it. People who have big houses, they are stressed how to handle and maintain it. People don't have houses, they are longing for it. So when your object is absent, you feel longing for it. It's a roller coaster ride. Paragyana brings to you pleasure and pain. Today you are happy, tomorrow sad. From where you get it? Science, art and social sciences. Go to the universities, you will get complete paragyana. Make sense? Are you getting it? But what is aparagyana? This is aparagyana. Fine. I wrote wrong in both cases. I'm so sorry. Left is apara. This gray one is apara. My mistake. And white one is para. Fine. Higher knowledge. So what is it about self? It's not about livelihood. It's about life itself. It's not entertainment, it's enlightenment. It's not bondage, it's inner freedom. It's spiritual development, peace, happiness, permanence, spiritual development. And what does it give you? It gives us independence. It gives us independence. Independence, what does that mean? Independence means that mentally, emotionally, physically, I am independent. I am completely independent. It gives you. Fine. It gives you self-sufficiency, no loneliness, no lack of companionship. I'm not afraid of company. I'm not in the need of anybody. Self-sufficient I am. What else it brings? It gives us sense of fulfillment, that everything belongs to me. I'm completely fulfilled. No sense of limitation. And then emotional stability it gives. Fine. So you become world-proof. When the setup is disturbed, it does not upset you. So that is the point. And from where you get it? Vedanta, Gita, and Yoga Sutra. So let's not confuse between these two jnanas. Fine. When you talk about aparagyana, let's not confuse about it. What should we expect from that? And what should we expect from this? Fine. Now the next point, how to get it. In a very small summary, let me go to that. So there are 3 stages for that. First is Shravana. Listen carefully. Step number 1. What is listening? Systematic, continuous, non-judgmental, patient listening of scriptures from a competent master. This is stage 1. Every word is important, systematic, not abrupt. Today I attended the class. Next day I'm partying, so couldn't attend the class. Next day I had some other work, couldn't attend the class. Again I attended the class. It's not Jnana Yoga. It has to be continuous and systematic, step by step. Non-judgmental. No, I'm not liking him. My experiences are not like this. It's wrong. When you are learning, be open. Even if your experiences does not match with it, right now don't judge. Receive. Patient. Some people are so eager to get enlightened. So much eager. So we need to have patience in listening. Scriptures and from a competent master. This is what you call Shravan. It's a very specific definition. If any of the word is not there, it is not Shravanam. Second is Mananam. Shravanam means listen. Manana. Manana means contemplating, thinking, contemplating, thinking. Contemplate and ask questions. Now in second stage, you should ask questions from the master. Not when master is speaking. Don't judge the master when the master is speaking. That time just receive. Go back to your home. Think about it. Why master said this? My experiences are not like that. And then ask questions. Fine. Synthesis of all thoughts, ideas, and topics. Now you make notes. Synthesize it. Where are the not connecting dots? What dots are not connecting? What are the confusions that are coming up when I am summarizing? If you really want to do manana, you should summarize all 6 sessions on Gita we studied so together. And then summarize. Are they connecting? Fine. Once you did it and you asked the questions from the master, you got more clarity. Now the third stage is Nididyasanam. This is written, spelling is here. Nididyasanam means practicing at the moment of truth. Practicing at the moment of truth. What does that mean? Behaving as if realized. As they say, fake it till you make it. So behave as if realized. Intellectual understanding should now reflect in the behavior. I should be peaceful in difficult situations. I should be contented. I should have emotional stability. I should have no longing nor belonging. From conceptualization to realization now. So let's summarize what we discussed in brief. We understood it. Jnana Yoga is the knowledge about self. Jnana is knowledge. Yoga means that connects to self. It's the knowledge that connects me with myself is called Jnana Yoga. And then we discussed that how in Gita, Krishna talks about Jnana Yoga. So we understood this. I told you that there is a journey in chapter 2. Krishna mentions about it. So let me just have a quick glimpse for you so that we can summarize it, what we discussed. I hope you can see the screen now. Perfect. Okay. Perfect. So we understood this, that it is the mind that is called, mind is conscious, subconscious, and unconscious. Body is physical. Spirit is consciousness. Body is called gross body. Mind is conscious and unconscious. And the conscious and unconscious mind is called subtle body. And conscious and subconscious mind is called subtle body. Unconscious mind is called causal body. This brings conception. The causal body, the subtle body brings perception, and the gross body brings sensation. This is what you call Jivatma, or the soul. That is called body, that is called Atman. Like container, water, and sun we discussed. And like we discussed, the destination of the body is grave, that transmigrate and stops reflecting. Both of them are unique. That is one. It is present in right now body, but in past and future it was not present. Soul is never this thought actually. It is only present in my mind. It has just a mental existence. It does not mean that soul does not have any existence. What it means is the thoughts, opinions have only mental existence. And something that is ever present, past, present, and future, that is called spirit. That is called absolute reality, subjective reality, and objective reality. Hardware, software, and electricity, vehicle steering, and petrol. And this is called matter, spirit, prakriti, purusha, inert, sentient, temporary, permanent, aparagyana and paragyana. And what is the difference between aparagyana and paragyana? We understood it is lower knowledge. It is about life and surroundings, and it makes us drained. It gives you a roller coaster ride. And if you learn it from science, art, and colleges, universities, they teach you. But when you want to know about yourself, then it is called paragyana, higher knowledge. It's about self, and it brings independence, self-sufficiency, sense of fulfillment, emotional stability, attached to none and connected to all. And from where you get it? Vedanta, Gita, and Yoga Sutra. How to proceed? Step 1, Shravanam. What is Shravanam? Listen carefully. Systematic, continuously, non-judgmental, patient listening to scriptures from a competent master. What is Mananam? Contemplate and ask questions then. Synthesis of all thoughts, ideas, and topics. Nididyasanam, behaving as if realized. Intellectual understanding should reflect in the behavior. From conceptualization, now it's the time of realization. So that's my talk now. Thank you very much. I know it's not easy. I know it's not easy because it's the higher knowledge. So, but I tried to just summarize it in minimum possible words. We are open for questions and discussions. Now we are open to questions and discussions. Anybody, any thoughts?
Congratulations, Dr. Vikrant.
Thank you so much.
It's wonderful to listen to you, because the science of the knowledge is detailed, which is not written anywhere I came across to really very clearly. It is worth to write it, listen to it many times to absorb really the meaning of the subject. Thank you very much.
As Baba Adnanji rightly said, to listen it again and again, it really then start going inside us. So that's very important, and that's what is the first step of Jnana Yoga, listening. Thank you, Adnan Babaji.
Wonderful work.
Yes, Adrian.
Namaste to everyone. Thank you, Dr. Vikranji, for such an enlightening topic. I just wanted to know about Nididyasanam. So I've often suffered from loneliness. They say I have itchy feet. I always go out and seek company, and I don't like being alone. I can barely sleep with an empty house. There must be someone around. So if I were to practice Nididyasanam or thinking or embodying the right belief, the right thought, in times of loneliness, what is the correct thought to have higher knowledge? How should I think?
Perfect question. Look, Adrian, like when you sleep and when you do yoga nidra, for the observers, both are same. One is sleeping and another is doing yoga nidra. Similarly, if a person is sitting alone, whether he is lonely or alone, he will appear same. But a saint is alone, never lonely. And a common person is never alone, he is lonely. Fine. Saint needs nothing because he is fulfilled. He knows that I am one with this universe. And that's why there is no concept of loneliness. Fine. Now the question comes is, if I am sitting alone, what should I practice then? I will suggest you, whole Gita is about the science of self-realization. Fine. So when you sit alone, start asking, it is called swadhyaya, studying self. Start talking to yourself like how? Okay, so what are you feeling now? I'm feeling lonely. Fine. What does that loneliness means to you? Nothing, nobody around. Who should be around? Maybe girlfriend? Okay. But you had one, yes? How, but she used to fight a lot. So, are you sure that the new one will not fight? No, I can't be. Okay. So till she doesn't fight, you will be happy. And the moment she fights, you'll be unhappy. Yes. And then what happens when she fights? We break up. And then what happens? Again lonely. And then what happens? Again trying to hook up. And then what happens? Fights. And then what happens? Again lonely. So it's a pattern for you. So does that make any sense? Can there be something which will be permanent for me? So talking to yourself and seeing your patterns of life. Fine. So we will realize that there is some bigger truth which we are missing. And this is called swa, means self. Adhyaya means studying yourself. At times we ourselves don't know what we want. Can you tell me one single pleasure in this life which will not give you pain? Can you tell me any single pleasure? Question to all of you. Tell me one single pleasure in this life. Whatever you see through your eyes around, including person, place, and thing, all noun, which will never give you pain for sure. Give me one example. Give me one noun which will never give you pain.
I can't think of any.
The answer comes love for Allah, and you can't see it through eyes, isn't it? So the answer lies in this. Till you are connected with anything that is material, it is going to give you pain. That was a problem of Lord Buddha. Initially, he thought that people who are poor, ill, they get pain. But then he found even love brings pain. If you love somebody a lot and the person dies, what will happen? Pain. If you love somebody a lot and the person does something against your expectation, what will happen? Pain. So this Gita tells, when you go through Gita, it brings out these topics so finely and then contemplate upon it. So when Krishna is speaking, the message is certainly not only for Arjuna, it is for all of us. Fine. Have I answered you, Adrian? So go for this self-talk and utilize this. Make your pointers.
Right. So we are trying to fulfill spiritual connection through material needs, which is not going to work. Is that right in saying that?
Look, emotional requirements does not have material solutions. Yes? When you need love, you need love. You don't need dollars against it. So emotional cavity cannot be fulfilled by material solutions. Got it? Similarly, spiritual needs can never be satisfied with the emotional solutions. There are no emotional solutions to it. You have to go beyond your emotions to see this. That it's a trap. Fine. It does not mean leave everybody. This is what Krishna is telling to Arjuna. It does not mean leave your relationship. It only means leave the grip, not the relationship. It's not the relationship that is causing you trouble. It is the grip, the hold that you are holding a relationship. The literal translation of dhrit, rashtra. Dhrit means tight, tight. Rashtra means anything that is material. So the moment you hold something that is material very tight, you will become blind. Whether that person is spouse or your job or your property. Why you'll become blind? Because you don't see that one day this property will be in ruins. One day that person will die. You can't see it right now because you're holding so tight. So spiritualism does not mean leaving things, I repeat again. No, it does not mean. It is leaving the grip. It does not mean breaking the glass. No, keep this glass here and leave the grip. Use this glass for physical thrust. Have relationships if you have emotional thrust, but for peace and happiness, for the thrust of peace and happiness, never rely on anybody else, or else you will remain miserable throughout the life. Is that clear, Adrian?
Thank you very much.
Dr. Tomar, Aditya.
Yeah.
Dr. Tomar, my question relates to self-control, tapa. Yeah, and it essentially, I'm coming to a point that to control your actions is easier than controlling your feelings and words, and then it's easier to which is easier than to control your thoughts. Now, if we are controlling actions and words, many a times it leads to suppressing yourself because you're suppressing your thoughts which have anyways emerged, right? So how do we ensure that by controlling our action and words, we are not suppressing our thoughts and feelings, or rather thoughts if not feelings?
Perfect. Look, it is just like this. If you may mute yourself. Yes, thank you. We run a play school in India. In that play school, I see there are small kids. They make so much noise, you can't imagine even. But the moment teacher enters the class, they become mum, finger on the lip. They become disciplined. But the moment teacher is not there, they make noises. Those small kids is our mind. It makes lots of noise. Fine. Our feelings, emotions, lots of noise. Teacher is the thought. If teacher comes, emotion settles. But majority of the times, we do not have enough strong thought. The problem is not why my mind is not in control. The problem is I don't have any big purpose for which everything will appear small. Like Che Guevara, like many revolutionaries, they had a purpose and they were ready to die even for that. Fine. So the problem is not this, that our mind fickles. The point is we don't have any bigger reason for life, or the reason that we have probably is not enough bigger, or we are not enough convinced with it, or we are not enough honest with it. Any of this. We may have reason in life, purpose of life, but either we are not honest to it, it is not big enough, or it is not inspiring enough. When you have an inspiring thing, then mind doesn't fickle. Like, for example, kids, when they study, their mind jumps. But when they play, they have a bigger reason. And their mind doesn't fluctuate. So you need a bigger reason. When you love, your mind never fluctuates. Fine. Have you ever had to try hard to control your mind when you are seated next to the person whom you love? No. Mind automatically becomes peaceful when you are talking to somebody whom you absolutely love. So whenever you do something which you love, mind becomes still. It means we need to search for a bigger thought, a cause. And that's why we say everybody should have a purpose of life. When there is a bigger purpose, mind settles down. Fine. And what can be the biggest purpose than realizing yourself? But don't go to that purpose. At least start with some small purposes. So let's invest more into it. And then, like, for example, have you seen this, that there are our mothers at our home? They are so concerned. If a son of a mother is ill, mother is so concerned about the routine of the medicine for the son, isn't it? Even if the next dose is to be given at midnight, 3 a.m., mother will wake up and assure that the dose is given. Yes? But when the mother herself falls ill and she knows that she has to take a dose at 3 a.m., she will never wake up. Even if she will open her eyes, leave it, and she will sleep. Why? Now mind has become stronger than the intellect. Why? The purpose is lower. My health is a lower purpose. My kids' health is a bigger purpose for me. So when the purpose is bigger, mind becomes quiet. Like, for example, when I get up at 4 a.m. in the morning, I feel so much sleepy. I really want to sleep again. No, I don't want to get up so early. Every day my mind says sleep. And majority of the time I sleep again. But if I have to catch a flight where 1,000 people are waiting for me to be addressed, and my flight, to catch the flight, I need to get up at 3. Now my mind is convinced about the purpose. And now when the alarm rings at 3, mind doesn't fluctuate. You sleep? No, no way. It keeps mum. Work for the purpose in life. Things will automatically settle down. Make sense?
Thank you very much, Dr. Thoman.
Thank you. Swamiji, anytime, any thought, if you comes to your mind, you can also, it's a public forum of discussion. So anybody can.
Yes, yes.
Yes, Sarah. Yes, Sarah, carry.
There's a question
Yes, yes.
on the chat.
Okay, there's a question in the chat. Can you mention in short Paramatman as in relation to Atman and Jivatman? Perfect. Jivatma transmigrates. Fine. Atma, which reflects in individual. In micro, if sun reflects in this glass, I will call it Atman at micro. But can I say, Adrian, that sun is in the glass? No, it's not. But it reflects in the glass. Fine. So this unit is called Atman, just for linguistic language purpose. And the original sun is called Paramatman. So will I say that that sun and this sun are different? No. They are same. It is reflecting, and that is absolute. So the point is, at micro level, what you call as Atman, the same thing at macro level is called Paramatman. No difference. Fine. It is only for the sake of language. At micro, it is Atman. At macro, it is Paramatman. Fine. And you call it Brahman also. At macro, you call it Brahman. At micro, you call it Atman. Both are same. But when you are dealing with the individual, you say Atman. But when you're talking about the creation, you call it Brahman. So what is the difference? No difference. So Paramatman and Atman are same. So why two names? One for micro identity, one for macro identity. But they are same. It's just for the sake of convenience we use it. But there is a fundamental difference between Atman and Jivatma. They are not same. Jivatma is a matter. It will die, it will perish. Atman will remain ever. Jivatman belongs to us individual. Atman is same of everybody. And this is what is Advait Vedanta. The moment you realize there are not two, Advait means two, A means not. They are not two, it is one. So the moment we realize it is one, then why jealousy? We are one. Why insecurity? Everything perishes just like this. If we are one, then nothing remains. So hope that answers the question.
I think Amadioji want to say something.
Sure.
Thank you.
Yes, I want to come back in reflection about Sravana, Manana e Nididyasanam. That I think, io penso che sia proprio la condotta base di una persona che si avvicina a una scuola di yoga, per esempio.
I think that following the first three words, Amadio? Dhyana?
Yes. Sravana, Manana, Nididyasanam.
Nididyasanam are the three roads that everybody who start a yoga school or really want to start the yogi life should follow.
Assolutamente, imparare ad ascoltare.
Absolutely, learn how to listen.
Riflettere.
Reflect, just think about it.
E applicare.
And also apply what you
quando io ascolto una cosa giusta, sono veramente non corretto se non applico.
So if I listen to something right, I'm not in the right position if I don't apply what I've listened.
Ma affrontiamo adesso il discorso della pace nel mondo.
Now we just talk about the peace in the world.
Spesso e volentieri i governi non ascoltano le persone.
Most of the time, the government don't listen to people.
Pensano che la diversità sia un ostacolo.
They think that diversity is an obstacle.
Quando invece la diversità è uno stimolo.
When the other way around, diversity is actually stimulating people. It's a challenge.
Se anche questi politici imparassero ad ascoltare.
So even if politicians start learn how to listen,
riflettere,
reflect,
e applicare quello che è giusto,
and also apply or use what is right to do,
forse sarebbe una via per trovare la pace davvero pratica.
Maybe it should be like the way to find the peace, the real peace, practically.
è veramente il comportamento onesto interiore di chiunque persona vuole evolvere.
It's really the right way of putting yourself when you want to evolve. So listen and follow the right things.
Imparare ad ascoltare, che è un'arte.
Learn how to listen. There is a heart. It's really like a masterpiece. Yeah.
Riflettere.
Think about it.
Riflettere, applicare.
And also apply what you listen.
Queste 3 parole sono molto ispiranti per la vita.
These 3 words are really inspiring for life. For our
Thank
life.
you. Thank you.
Very
Grazie.
important point, Swamiji, that you raised. Thank you for adding in the discussion. We are still left with 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes. Any questions?
I just want to thank you because I think it's really a big subject, really difficult subject. And you make it so easy that even a child could understand. So your example, they were so easy that, you know, you don't have to like make it easy philosophy that is, you know, not easy to understand. So big subject, you made it so simple that even a child can understand. So really thank you.
Thank you, Sarah.
Yeah.
And next session, yes, Christine.
No, I wanted to say the same thing. I have something in my goal right now. And that brilliant as ever, as always. I mean, like you put it so simply, it's exactly what Sarah said. And the 2 of you are a dream team, if I can say this. Swamiji and Dr. Vikranji, in that combination, it's like, wow.
This whole idea has been inspired by Swamiji only, Christine. We are really honored to have him, and we are just following him, Swamiji.
Thank the both of you.
And dear friends, next session will be the last session of this series. Will be the 7th session. It will be the summary of all, and then it will be over from our side, from European Yoga Federation and United Consciousness. It was our just small attempt to summarize Gita and Mahabharata. Mahabharata with 100,000 verses. Gita with 700 verses in 7 classes. So we just tried to do whatever we could. So next session will be the last session. So you may bring all your questions, whatever comes to your mind. And next week, same time, we will meet once again with lots of learning, mutual that we will have. We are also blessed to have team, and this association will always remain. These sessions will be over. These sessions are relative reality, but our association will be an absolute reality. So thank you, Adrian from South Africa, Christine from Germany, Sarah from London, Yogi Baba Adnanji from Turkey, Aditya ji from Dubai, Namita must be from India, Ravi must be from India, Tarja ji from Finland, if I'm not wrong. Madam Kubok, thank you, Team United Consciousness. And thank you, Madhulika ji, for being here. And thank you very much, Swamiji, for always inspiring us. Thank you. Thank you, Ami ji. Thank you, Ami ji. Your presence always inspires. Thank you. Namaste.